Hello and welcome back to our Lord of the Rings LCG solo progression series. And today's quest is The Ring Goes South, which is the first scenario in the Road Darkens Deluxe expansion. And this is the 4th out of 18 total scenarios in the Lord of the Rings saga. A quick reminder, in this series we're playing through each quest in chronological order of the game's initial release, and we'll only be using player cards that were available at the time of this quest's release. I'm calling this deck Sneaky Little Hobbitses, so we're using some really maligned heroes here, Fatty and Pippin. Just because we can't use Frodo, we're using the Fellowship version of Frodo, and so Frodo is not available to us. And so we're using Fatty just so that we have a spirit Hobbit hero, not because of his action, although it's possible we could use it. And then Pippin's response, a little bit like the deck that I built for the Nightmare Foundations of Stone. It can be useful just really early if we happen to get Storm of Howls before our threat gets down into the teens. We can use his response to just keep from engaging enemies. So we'll never engage an enemy other than the Watcher in the water, and we'll just lower our threat because there's an insane amount of card draw for a non-lore deck here, especially because of Frodo's Intuition, which is just an overpowered card if you have an all-Hobbit lineup. One new card included that we've not used before is from this deluxe expansion. It is the unique spirit version of Bilbo, the ally version. And he has a response. After Bilbo Baggins enters play, search your deck for a pipe attachment and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. Now, it's not search the top 5 or 10. It's your entire hand. So it's like we have an extra, 6 copies of Hobbit Pipe in a way. I mean, you can only play them once, but it just ensures us that we can get Hobbit Pipes up and running much more easily. Well, let's get to the quest and see how we do. Okay, opening hand is good just because I have a Hobbit Pipe and Bilbo, so I'll be able to play 2 Hobbit Pipes right at the start. And so that is good. And we'll look here. Of course, we have the new Fellowship version of Frodo, and his response is a little different than the one from the Black Riders Deluxe expansion. His response says, after Frodo Baggins exhausts to defend and attack, exhaust the One Ring and spend 1 Fellowship resource to target the attacking enemy. So immune enemies can't be targeted by this response because it actually targets the enemy. Then this attack deals no damage and each player raises his threat by 2. We're never going to use that response in this quest. Here is the One Ring. For setup, the first player claims the One Ring and attaches it to the ring bearer. The attached hero does not count against the hero limit. First player gains control of the attached hero. So we have 4 hobbits, which allows us to use Pippin's response. If each hobbit you control has the hobbit trait, if each hero, then he gains this response. Okay, so here is the setup then for the Council of Elrond. Oh yeah, and I do need to mention, for whatever reason, Dragon Cards has an extra copy here of the One Ring, so we just need to delete that and shuffle the deck. It's in the encounter deck for some reason on Dragon Cards. Council of Elrond says, in the House of Elrond, the evil wound that Frodo received on Weathertop is healed, and he is reunited with his uncle Bilbo. But the One Ring cannot remain hidden in Rivendell for long, so Lord Elrond summons a council to decide what should be done to protect the free peoples of Middle-earth. For setup, we set Lust for the Ring, Redhorn Pass, Doors of Durin, and Watcher in the Water aside out of play. So here's 2 of those cards, Watcher in the Water and Doors of Durin. The other 2 that we're supposed to set aside are already in staging and active because of what's going to happen. But just to avoid confusion, let's just set these aside out of play like we're supposed to. And then we move on to side B, and there's no win revealed or anything. There is a forced effect that'll happen at the end of the planning phase. So let's go to the resource phase, and we drew a card. Okay, and we are now in the planning phase. What we want to do is go ahead and spend 2 spirit resources to pay for Bilbo Baggins. His response says, after Bilbo Baggins enters play, search your deck for a pipe attachment and add it to your hand. So we're going to do that now. We'll browse and look for an attachment, a pipe attachment, which we have 2 more Hobbit Pipes. We just added it to our hand. And we'll attach 1 Hobbit Pipe to Pippin, and 1 to Fatty. You don't want to attach the Hobbit pipe to Frodo because he does leave play eventually. Well, he loses. We don't control him for a short while. All right, we are done then with planning, so we move to the end of planning. And this is really cool and thematic. It says at the end of the planning phase, each player places the top card of his deck face up in front of him. So let's do that. And it is Frodo's Intuition. Okay, in player order we do that until there are a total of 4 face-up cards between the players. So in solo I have to keep going until there are 4 total cards out on the table. And we'll put them all out here and we'll make some choices. The force effect says, continues to say, first player, which is us, chooses 1 face-up card to be played for 0 cost. And we can't do that with Beorn because we can't afford to play him. I mean, it costs us nothing, and we are able to play this outside of the usual action window. But Beorn can't be played because we don't have tactics access. So he will not be the card we play. I think we want to probably play for free Frodo's Intuition. So this is the card we'll choose to play. Action. Each hero you control gets +1 willpower until the end of the round. Draw 1 card for each Hobbit hero you control. So +1 willpower on all of our heroes, and we drew 4 cards because we control 4 Hobbit heroes. Just crazy. That card in an all Hobbit deck is very broken. All right, so that's the card we played. Now we have to continue to go down this list. It costs us nothing to play that, 0 cost. And we did have Fellowship Sphere access because of Frodo. Then we add 1 to our hand, and we'll just go ahead and add Elrond's Council to our hand. And then we discard 1, and the other is shuffled into our deck. So we'll go ahead and discard Beorn, and then this one will be shuffled. The Legacy of Numenor will be shuffled into our deck. Okay, so all that happened during that forced effect, and we continue. It says, then we are to either shuffle Lust for the Ring into the encounter deck or raise each player's threat by 5. So here's Lust for the Ring. It's a burden, treachery with peril and surge. When revealed, attached to a non-fellowship hero in play. That would be one of our 3 hobbits. It's not Frodo. There would be a forced effect after the 1 ring exhausts. Raise each player's threat by 1 and reduce attached heroes' willpower to 0. There's no reason for me to raise my threat by 5. Let's just shuffle this into the encounter deck because it won't hurt us at all. We will never exhaust the ring in this quest. And so we advance to stage 2. We're still at the end of planning here. We go to the 9 walkers, epic picture there. The council decides the 1 ring must be cast into Mount Doom. Frodo is appointed 8 companions to help him complete this quest, and the company of the ring sets out from Rivendell into Hollin on their way to Mordor. When revealed, make Redhorn Pass the active location. So here is Redhorn Pass, and it was already in the active location slot. I just was making it clear why it was. So here we go. Redhorn Pass is immune to player cards, player card effects. It does have a forced effect. When Redhorn Pass is explored, each player assigns X damage among characters he controls. X is the number of damage on here. So there are effects that can put damage on these locations. And whenever the forced effect fires, we have to observe whatever the negative result is, assuming an X has a value. Usually there won't be damage on these, and so X will be 0. It won't matter. All right. So now we reveal cards from the encounter deck until there is at least X threat in the staging area. X is twice the number of players in the game, so we're just looking for 2 threat. And we reveal Howling Warg. So we got 2 threat right there, 38 engagement. These enemies are not difficult because the engagements are so high, really. Okay, side B. We have to make 8 progress, and we'll turtle here for a little bit. Holland is no longer wholesome for us. It is being watched, says Aragorn. During the travel phase, the players must travel to a location if able. It's not optional to leave them in staging. And the force effect says after an enemy engages a player, place 1 damage on the active location if able. So the mechanic that kind of is working here is we have to travel to locations, and then if enemies engage us, damage is placed on them from those enemies engaging us. And so that's kind of what's trying to work against us, but we will not engage enemies, and so it really won't be a thing on this stage. Okay, so that was all at the end of planning, so now we're in questing. And we want to go ahead and sneak attack Gandalf into play, and we'll draw 3 cards. Card draw is really the thing we want to use Gandalf for initially the most. Maybe eventually threat reduction, but usually not. Okay, so we'll quest, and we want to make enough progress to clear Redhorn Gate. I feel pretty good about that. We'll leave 1 hero ready because there is an enemy that comes out that makes you choose to either exhaust the hero you control or a bad thing happens. So we reveal Bitter Cold. When revealed, each player must choose either discard each ally he controls or raise his threat by 1 for each ally he controls. Now sometimes I would let this, there's times where maybe you place damage on an ally, or in this case, like I would maybe consider discarding Bilbo and Gandalf, because then next round I could play Bilbo and grab the 3rd Hobbit Pipe, but I already have it, so there's no reason to do that. Let's just raise our threat by 1 for each ally that we control, which is just 2. And we made 12 progress, so a little bit of overkill. Should have been more reserved there. So Redhorn Pass leaves play. Goes to the victory display. Gandalf comes back to our hand, and we'll refresh. And of course, we did not have to engage Howling Warg. It says force when Howling Warg attacks, place 1 damage on an active location. So this willpower boost goes away from the Frodo's Intuition that we played during setup, or actually not during setup, during that forced effect at the end of planning. Okay, so next round. And we'll put out a free Build a Pony. Lower the cost to play Build a Pony by 2 if you control Sam Gamgee. And he cannot have attachments. Each Hobbit character gets +1 hit points. That includes our Bilbo ally. Here's our 3rd Hobbit Pipe. And then we want to go ahead and play Arwen Undomiel. This gives us a unique Noldor character, which means we can play Elrond's Council. Action: if you control a unique Noldor character, give another character +1 willpower until the end of the phase and lower your threat by 3. We're not going to care about who we assign that to. This is in planning. So we'll lower our threat by 3. And in response after your threat is reduced by an event card effect, exhaust Hobbit Pipe to draw a card. We'll do that 3 times, all triggered off the one event. So 3 cards drawn. And then we want to play a Steward of Gondor, so I'm going to play Legacy of Numenor, which has Doom 4. It costs me nothing to play other than Doom 4. And it says add 1 resource to each hero's resource pool. And so we've done that, and that gives us the ability to play Steward of Gondor. We'll attach it to Sam and exhaust it to get 2 resources back. We're really kind of done, I think. We could, sometimes I would play Gandalf and draw cards, but I'll just take it easy a little bit here. That feels good. We'll reveal Regiments of Crows. When revealed, place 3 damage on each active location. It says each because there is a point in the game where there can be 2 active locations. All right, well, we've made 3 progress. And usually I try to turtle a little bit on the 9 walkers, but we weren't able to do that. I kind of blew away the quest in round 1, unfortunately. So we advance. We're in quest resolution. The hunt is up. Suddenly Aragorn leapt to his feet. How the wind howls, he cried. It is howling with wolf voices. The wargs have come west of the mountains, the Fellowship of the Ring. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for an enemy and adds it to the staging area. One of those enemies has to be the Great Warg Chief, if able. And we know we've not seen him discarded. It's kind of a human-looking wolf, a little disturbing-looking. It's this guy. Anyway, so 30 engagement, cannot have attachments, and if he engages us, bad things happen, but he won't engage us. Our threat's at 25. The Fellowship is being hunted by ravenous wargs. During the travel phase, the players must travel to a location if able. That's the same as last round. And then at the bottom, the same force effect. After an enemy engages a player, place 1 damage on the active location if able. But there's a new force effect. After a location enters play, place 1 damage on it. So we will see that damage effect a little bit more often now. All right, we'll refresh and move on to the next round. Steward of Gondor. And then we'll play Elrond's Council to lower our threat by 3. And exhaust the Hobbit Pipes to draw a card each. And I'm going to go ahead and spend a resource from Pippin's pool to just go ahead and put out Song of Travel. We'll attach it to Sam. There have been playthroughs where this was really helpful. Maybe the least useful card in the deck, but we got Steward of Gondor online. Sometimes Steward of Gondor could be in the bottom 5 or 10 cards, and so we would maybe struggle to be able to pay for spirit cards when we want to. And so that 1 copy of Song of Travel seems to help on a few playthroughs. All right, we will sneak attack Gandalf into play and draw 3 cards. And, this is during questing. Before committing characters, I've got an action window. Let's play We Are Not Idle. Action, exhaust 0 dwarf heroes to add 0 resources to a hero's resource pool and draw a card. Okay, we just want to quest so that our threat doesn't go up, but we don't really want to make progress. We'll do that. And we reveal Snowdrifts. When revealed, attached to the active location. If Snowdrifts is not attached to the active location, it gains Surge. There is no active location. We'll reveal another Howling Warg, and we made 2 progress. Gandalf comes back to hand. Refresh. Next round. Okay, here's a good meal. It says, excuse me. It's a neutral attachment attached to a Hobbit hero. And we'll take this action, discard good meal to lower the cost of the next event you play this round that matches the attached hero sphere by 2. So we'll discard that, and it'll cost us 1 to play Galadhrim's Greeting, lowering our threat by 6. We'll exhaust the Hobbit Pipes and draw 3 cards. We'll play We Are Not Idle to draw a card. Steward of Gondor exhausts. And then we will go ahead and sneak attack Gandalf into play. And this time, rather than drawing cards, we were only down to, we're just 15 cards away from being done. Let's just put 4 damage on Great Warg Chief. It's not immune to player card effects. So 4 damage. And we'll quest. Usually I just want to make 4 progress because there is a location that contributes 4 threat. And it's not that one, but it's close. Eregion. Okay, we made a point of progress. Now there is this effect. After a location enters play, place 1 damage on it. So we have to do that. Eregion's force effect says when it is explored, the players as a group must discard X allies from play. X is the number of damage here. So we'll have to discard an ally. And there's no way around this unless I had Thror's Key or something. But we have to travel here. It says during the travel phase, the players must travel to a location if able. Gandalf came back to hand at the end of questing. We're not going to engage anybody. Refresh. Next round. Okay, Steward of Gondor. And then we'll just play Elrond's Council to lower our threat by 3. And exhaust Hobbit Pipes, drawing 3 cards. Here's a good meal. We'll attach it to Pippin. We'll go ahead and play Faramir. And with Faramir, he has his action, exhaust Faramir to choose a player. Each character controlled by that player gets +1 willpower until the end of the phase. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust him, prevent refresh, and just boost all my characters by +1 because I'm always going to use him during the quest phase. There's not a reason for him to ever be ready in this quest, so I'm just going to do that. It's just easier than adjusting this value every round. Okay, we're going to explore Eregion and lose a character, but it doesn't matter. We can discard either Arwen or Bilbo and be fine. Okay, I think we can just go ahead and keep pushing forward here. So let's play Frodo's Intuition. Action, each hero you control gets +1 willpower until the end of the round. Draw 1 card for each Hobbit hero you control. So +1 willpower on each Hobbit or each hero we control, and then we'll draw 4 cards because we control 4 Hobbit heroes. And we'll attach this good meal to Pippin. No reason to lower our threat. Our threat's way underneath any engagement cost. Don't really have any more card draw. Let's go ahead and just play Gandalf from hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play Gandalf and just destroy Great Warg Chief. So 4 damage and he leaves play. So he'll be discarded at the end of the round. Despite the fact that I played Frodo's Intuition and I have all this willpower, I'm not really wanting to progress yet. I want to sort of set up a little bit more before the next stage. So let's just make sure we clear this possibly. And there we go. That's fine. We reveal Storm of Howls. Okay, so this is the one where I mentioned that we would see ourselves using Pippin. Because if we engage an enemy, we can just shoot it back to staging at the cost of threat increase of 3. But this isn't going to hurt us here. We could play Test of Will, of course, but it says when revealed, either the Warg enemy in the staging area with the highest engagement cost attacks you. Don't really want that. Or each Warg enemy gets -20 engagement cost until the end of the round. And so we'll just do that. So they're down to 18 engagement cost, but our threat is 16, so it's not going to hurt us. They'll still stay in staging. We made 10 progress, so 6 on the current quest. And this leaves play. It says when Eregion is explored, the players as a group must discard X allies from play. X is a number of damage here. Since we're going to discard Gandalf at the end of the round anyway, let's just discard Gandalf. That leaves play. Refresh, and the willpower boost from Frodo's Intuition goes away. Next round. There's a chance we might move on here, but we'll see. Let's play Good Meal to play a 1-cost Galadrim's Greeting. And we lower our threat by 6. Exhausted Hobbit Pipes to draw 3 cards. Let's go ahead and play Tome of Atanatar. It just costs us 3 to do that. This can be attached to a leadership hero, and you reduce the cost to play Tome of Atanatar by 1 for each hero you control with a printed leadership resource icon. That would be just Sam. And so this is attached to Sam, and this just gives us an extra sneak attack. So that'll stay attached to Sam. Let's go ahead and play Frodo's Intuition to draw these final 3 cards, and then we could, wait. I think Beorn, yeah, he's discarded, so I'm going to wait just a little bit, actually, before we advance. We'll just turtle a little bit more here, because I got to get Beorn into play before we advance. So just turtling, and we reveal 3 Crowned Hill. A damage is placed on it when it enters play. We put a point of progress on the hunt is up. We travel here. This says while 3 Crowned Hill is the active location, each player gets each enemy gets -1 threat. So they're down to just 1 threat each. A little bit boring at this point, I know. Refresh next round. Steward of Gondor. And we have 2 cards we can draw. Let's go ahead and play We don't need to. We do need to get Bayorn, so let's go ahead and now I don't have stand and fight because there's not really a way for me to discard cards. I don't have AON or anything, and so I usually just play Bayorn using a good harvest. But let's play. I think I removed the resource from Pippin to do it. Let's play Will of the West. Choose a player, shuffle that player's discard pile into his deck. Remove Will of the West from the game. So all these cards will come back. I think the bottom two were sneak attacks, I'm pretty sure. But I'm ready to try to get Bayorn into play and just move on. So let's discard Good Meal. 1 cost to play Galathrim's Greeting, lowering a threat by 6. We'll exhaust Hobbit Pipes and draw a card each. We will play Frodo's Intuition. Each hero you control gets +1 willpower until the end of the round. Draw 1 card for each Hobbit hero you control. We'll play We Are Not Idle to draw a card. We'll attach Good Meal to Pippin. We'll attach Good Meal to Pippin. We'll play Frodo's Intuition. Drawing 4 cards. There we go. Okay, and there's Bayorn, so we can move on. I think we're good here. To just move on, we'll destroy. We'll use Gandalf to start destroying these enemies. So this one, when it leaves play, we're going to have to exhaust X characters. X is the number of damage here, so just 1 character will need to be exhausted. But let's go ahead and play Good Harvest. Name a sphere until the end of the phase. You can spend resources of any sphere when paying for cards that belong to the named sphere. We're going to say Tactics and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we just put Bayorn into play. And of course he's boosted by Faramir. Remember, we're just making it easier. We've already done all of our card draw with Hobbit Pipes. We don't necessarily need to play Legacy of Numenor, but if I needed some more resources, I could do that. My threat's plenty low. But let's go ahead and sneak attack Gandalf into play. And when he enters play, we'll put 4 damage on Howling Warg. So it's out of play. And we'll quest. We want to leave Bayorn ready. We'll quest with all of our heroes. Now remember, we've not seen it yet, but I always want to leave 1 hero ready in case we get a specific enemy. So you always leave a hero ready. And it's Lust for the Ring, which is going to surge. This does nothing to us. We just attach it to, let's say, to Fatty. And the ring won't exhaust, so it won't matter. Okay, Redhorn Foothills. A damage is placed on Redhorn Foothills. We made 18 progress, so that's going to be 12 on the current quest. So we have cleared Tree Crowned Hill. Forest. When Tree Crowned Hill is explored, the players as a group exhaust X characters in play. X is a number of damage here. We'll just exhaust Frodo for that. I had an extra character here in Bilbo, or actually in Bill. I was ready to exhaust Bill for that. Okay, so we have advanced to the final stage, the Gates of Moria. Pursued by evil wargs and fell weather, the Company of the Ring decides to enter the mines of Moria, but as they seek the hidden gate, a foul creature seizes the ring bearer with one of its many groping arms. When revealed, make doors of during the active location. So here it is. Let's look at it. Immune to player card effects. Progress must be placed on each other active location before it can be placed here. And so there are ways in this final stage you can have 2 active locations, but Doors of Join being one of them. Progress cannot be placed here unless the first player controls a ring bearer, which we do at this point, but not for long. If there are 9 damage tokens here, the players lose the game. So that's Doors of Durin. Now we add Watcher in the Water to the staging area. And so it enters staging. This threat reduction is gone. So 50 engagement, indestructible, so we can damage it, but just it will not leave play. It's immune to player card effects, so you can't use Gandalf. cannot leave the staging area, but is considered to be engaged with each player, just always. So he's engaged with us, and at this point, because it's 50 engagement, we actually, we ready Sam in response. After you engage an enemy with a higher engagement cost than your threat, ready Sam Gamgee. Now, he is immune to player card effects, but Sam is not immune to enemies. And so his engagement's 50. This is not doing anything to Watcher. And so that's a case of how that works. But Sam has an extra attack for the round and an extra willpower boost. It tells us forced. After placing the 6 damage here, the first player takes control of the ring bearer, exhausted with 1 damage on it. So there is, we'll see in a minute, we're about to lose Frodo to the Watcher. It's going to grab him. It says discard all tokens from the ring bearer and place it and each attached card to it face down under Watcher in the water. So he loses these 2 resource tokens, and we'll attach Frodo in the ring to Watcher in the water. So he's been grabbed by the enemy. There can be 2 active locations. As I mentioned, during the travel phase, the players must travel to a location available. So we'll just travel here to Redhorn Foothills. Force, after an enemy engages a player, place 1 damage on each active location. That was turn face down whenever this enemy engages, so that doesn't apply. If Doors of Durin is explored, the players win the game. Okay, so that was the end of questing. At the end of the questing, Gandalf comes back to hand from sneak attack. During the travel phase, we have to travel to Redhorn Foothills, and so we have 2 active locations. We have Doors of Durin and Redhorn Foothills. I guess we'll attach them to each other. It says there can be 2 active locations. During the travel phase, the players must travel to a location if able. This one says that while it's the active location, force, after an enemy is added to the staging area, it gets -5 engagement cost until the end of the round. Not a big deal when your threat's 6. Force, when Redhorn Foothills is explored, each player must discard X cards from his hand at random. X is the number of damage here, just 1. Okay, so during the encounter phase, we're already engaged with Watcher in the water. Okay, so during combat, it's going to get a shadow card. Let's go ahead and sneak attack Gandalf into play. And we'll go ahead and just destroy this Howling Warg with his response. And of course, this, the threat boost is gone. That's just me, again, with Faramir doing the easy way out. Okay, so Watcher in the water is going to attack for 6. I always leave Frodo just to chump. 6 attack against 0 health. There's no reason why Frodo can't defend. And there is a shadow effect that says the attacking enemy makes an additional attack. I have a single copy of Hasty Stroke in case we don't like the shadow effect. But Bilbo leaves play. And now we want to attack back. We are engaged with Watcher in the water. We will use Beorn's action. Beorn says he gets +5 attack until the end of the phase when we take this action. So he's going to attack for 8. I'll just indicate that just to show you there. His attack is 8. At the end of the phase in which you trigger this effect, shuffle Beorn back into your deck. So we're attacking now just with Beorn and with Gandalf. 4 + 8 is 12, 13, 14, 15, because Sam is boosted from his response. So 15 -5 is 10 damage. It says after placing the 6 damage here, the first player takes control of the ring bearer, exhausted with 1 damage on it. And so he has a damage. He keeps the ring. He's damaged. He's exhausted. 2 damage would result in him leaving the game, but we also have Bill, so he's got 3 health. Okay, so at the end of the combat phase, shadow cards are discarded. Gandalf comes back to hand from sneak attack, and Beorn is shuffled back into our deck. Remember, his action says at the end of the phase in which you trigger this effect, shuffle Beorn back into your deck. And so we'll refresh. And next round. And through all that, the ring did not exhaust, and so really, Lust for the Ring is not a big deal. Let's play We Are Not Idle to draw a card. Here's Steward of Gondor. Let's discard Good Meal, to play a 1-costed Galadrim's Greeting. We're down to 1 threat. And we draw a card for each Hobbit Pipe. We cannot play Beorn anymore. He served his purpose just to get Frodo back, is all we needed him for. Let's play Legacy of Numenor, Doom 4. Add 1 resource to each hero's resource pool. So there we go. Everybody gets a resource that gives Frodo the ability to play Frodo's Intuition. Each hero you control gets +1 willpower until the end of the round. Draw 1 card for each Hobbit hero you control. So I think I messed up. So we should be back down to just +2. I don't think I've messed up on that values. I may have neglected at the end of a round in which I played Frodo's Intuition, maybe somewhere along the way. I forgot to adjust willpowers, but it wasn't a problem. I would have advanced when I advanced and all that anyway. So we've drawn our entire hand. And so now we're going to sneak attack Gandalf into play. Oh yeah, we should have played Bilbo because he chumped. We played him during planning. Okay, so we're going to quest with everything. So we want to leave 1 hero ready just in case that, we have the ability to cancel it with Test of Will. So let's just, I would use Fatty Bulger's action, but this guy's immune to player card effects, so I can't really use it. Let's just quest with Fatty. Everybody's boosted by +1 because of Faramir, and then the heroes are boosted by +1 because of the Frodo's Intuition that we played. Okay, we reveal Storm of Howls. When revealed, either the warg enemy in the staging area with the highest engagement cost attacks you. There aren't any warg enemies, and so this is going to surge, but that surge is built into the when revealed. Let's cancel that with Test of Will. And then to make plenty of progress here, let's play Elrond's Council 3 times. Our threat goes down to 0. That's just an extra 3 willpower. Remember, Sam has Song of Travel, so let's play 3 Dwarven Tombs to grab 3 Elrond's Councils and boost our willpower by +3. And we've done everything we can. We made 30 progress. Okay, so like any time in the game where you have 2 active locations, you get to choose which one you're going to put progress on. This says progress must be placed on each other active location before it can be placed here. So out of 30, 5 is placed here. Let's separate these. So 5 is placed here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 25 is placed here. It spills over to the next active location. And we learned that, I think, in Battle of Lake Town. So when Redhorn Foothills is explored, each player must discard X cards from his hand at random. X is the number of damage. So that would be Gandalf. That leaves play. And then we explore Doors of Durin. Progress cannot be placed here unless the first player controls a ring bearer. We did. So that leaves play. It says if Doors of Durin is explored, the players win the game. And so we did. That was it. That's the quest. So we're won it in 8 rounds, which is usually about what I do. Sometimes 10. There's been, if I really want a turtle or if I struggle, like I got Hobbit Pipes pretty early. I think by round 1 or 2, I had all 3 Hobbit Pipes out. So, we didn't stall out. But there are playthroughs where you get maybe not the greatest opening hand. You definitely want a mulligan for a good one. But, if you just had a bunch of copies of Allies and Faramir and Dwarven Tomb, but no threat reduction, or threat reduction but no Hobbit Pipes, you can struggle just a little bit to get the plane off the ground. But that's where, if an enemy engages us, we can use Pippin. Like I said, with Storm of Howls, Pippin just keeps that from being an issue. We pretty much saw everything. There were a few enemies that we didn't see. This one here, when revealed, either exhaust a hero you control or engage Krebine from Dunland. So real classic enemy there, but that's why I always want to leave Fatty ready potentially, because then he can just exhaust rather than him engaging us, which when the enemies engage us, you put damage on a active location. And force, after Krebine from Dunland engages a player, reveal the top card of the encounter deck. So again, we never got close to 28 threat, so the engagement cost on all these guys is high, including Hound of Sauron. There's multiple of these, and they get -5 engagement cost for each enemy in the staging area. But we'll always, with Gandalf, just sort of pick apart the enemies. He's up in there in the trees. Well, no, this isn't the Hobbit, but it feels like it, where he's lobbing pine cones at the wolves. Locations, we saw all of them. Treachery is nothing really to write home about. It's not a hard quest, but just a pretty fun way to deal with it. And, hey, just having the ability to use Fatty and Pippin and then be viable, that's a good feeling. It's really driven by, honestly, Frodo and Frodo's intuition, which is just stupid, to draw 4 cards and everybody gets an extra willpower, all the heroes, super powerful. Well, that is a quest, pretty uneventful in 8 rounds. We won it, and I hope you'll join me for the next quest, which will be A Journey in the Dark, I think is the name of it, if I remember. I think it is. It's where we go into Khazad Dûm, and I believe it's A Journey in the Dark. Looking forward to playing through the rest of the Road Darkens Deluxe expansion with you. And as always, I appreciate you joining me. Hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.